When I'm training for professional competitions, men and women always ask me for advice. To women, I say push yourself harder than you ever have before and go beyond your comfort zone. Focus on your goals. Men, if I am willing to push myself to become Mr. Olympia in 2022, then I only have one thing to say to you. Bring your A game.
Here we go again.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So I just want a little talk with any woman that might be listening. The men too, you can listen. But I wanted to give my take without somebody else's input or a video to show, because we've seen these videos. We've seen other people's input on the whole, we not cooking, we don't cook for our man, we not doing extra for him. He do the bare minimum, cooking is extra. I'm not fixing plates. I'm not doing this. And on the surface, this is a petty thing that I don't know why the women are arguing about it. And the men kind of don't know why it's that big of a deal, where you're kind of in this state of refusal to do anything, so-called extra around the house. And then there are several different reasons, excuses given as to why this is unthinkable, this is unimaginable, this is unreasonable expectation that a husband should have of his wife. Will I work? Will I take care of kids? And none of that is a reasonable excuse, because you work and you take care of kids, but you eat. You eat. You work and you take care of kids, the kids eat. The husband just don't eat. So it's not about not having time. It's not about not having energy. It's not about any of those things. It's not about any of that. If she is a housewife, if you have a woman who you married to, and she argue with you about cooking, she argue with you about fixing plates for you, she always got some excuse. She won't do it. She refuses to do it. And there are no good reasons why. There aren't any reasons why. There are no reasons why. Then you might have a different problem. You've got another problem than the cooking. And to the ladies, stop fronting and acting like there's something else happening. If you are one of these ladies who absolutely refuse to cook their husband a meal or to fix a plate or do any of that stuff, you're not doing none of that stuff because that is beneath you, or that is extra, or you don't want to, or you ain't gonna because he don't deserve it, because why should you, and all of these other types of things. Leave that man. Have the real conversation. Don't be a coward. Have the real conversation with him about you not liking him, and you not loving him, and you not valuing him, and you aren't going to put even the small effort into building a relationship with him. Have the real conversation with him. And I know that seemed extreme. Well, I don't mean I don't like him. Yes, it does. Yes, it do. Fixing a plate isn't about what he do or don't do. Fixing food or cooking for your husband isn't about whether or not he paid the bills in a 2-bedroom in the hood or he paid a mortgage in a 4-bedroom in the suburbs. That don't have nothing to do with that. That don't have nothing to do with that. You seeing it as a chore, as something difficult that you got to do, it doesn't have anything to do with anything. It is called a small kindness. It's a small kindness. Small kindnesses that you do with people are stemmed out of the love you have for that person. Because the reason why it's not about the mortgage and the bills and what he do and what he don't do is because your kids don't do none of that. And they get a plate. I fix plates for my sister. I fix plates for my brothers. I have fixed plates for my father. I have fixed plates for friends. I have fixed plates for associates just because we was all there and I was in the kitchen and other folks wanted food. And those people wasn't doing nothing for me. Those people I didn't sit back and before I put that piece of chicken on that plate, thought about or counted what they had done for me. Because small kindnesses stem out of love. And they stem out of love coming from two places. Either the love you have for that individual or the love you have for God that makes you do small kindnesses for people. Wasn't expecting that, were you? This is why I'm saying what I'm saying. This is why this is the real issue beyond and behind and underneath the I ain't fixing no plate, I ain't cooking. If you live in a house with a person and you claim you will let the words I love you come out of your mouth to that person, or you will accept that person saying I love you to you. You accept the kindnesses that person do, any gift they buy, anything that they do, you accept that. If you live with a person like that and you can't bring yourself to when you go, you and the 2 kids and him all ain't ate tonight, and you can do the arm work it takes to put the mashed potatoes, to put the chicken, to put the steamed vegetables. I hope you got vegetables. Steamed vegetables on everybody's plate. But when it comes to his plate, your arms stop working. Have the other conversation. Same with sex. Same thing with denial of sex. It done went on months. It done went on years. Have the other conversation. Stop hiding behind, well, I work too. Because when men want you to not work, you say they trapping you and all that other kind of stuff. Have the real conversation with these men. Tell them, I don't like you. I don't like you. This is why when you talk about me doing little extra stuff for you, this is why it's extra stuff. This is why I can count it. I can count it because this is not a love situation. I'm not in this marriage because I love you. I'm in this marriage because there's something that you bring to me called stability. And that's what I want out of you. Other than that, I wouldn't even be talking to you, man. I certainly would not be tooting it up for you. That's why I don't give you oral. See, all of that is wrapped up into one thing for a woman. Because when we love you and we respect you, all of that stuff is not a question. All of that, the small kindnesses, not a question. How much sex we having, not a question. She got all kind of excuses as to why she won't give you oral, why, you know what I'm saying, she don't want no different positions, she don't want all this other kind of that sex is real ticky and all that type of stuff. That's because she don't like you. Let's get down to the real. That's because she don't like you. She don't like you. She really don't want you. She want what you can do. She don't want you. She want what you can do. That's what it is. When you have women that, and I'm talking about the consistent refusal. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 times in your marriage. I'm not talking about that, because I know folks listen, and I'm talking to a lot of people. So let me make things real clear. I'm not talking about the 1 or 2 times in your relationship where sex didn't happen exactly when you wanted it to happen. If you are in a long marriage, sex is not always gonna happen exactly when you want it to, male or female, for the man or the woman. That should be common sense. I'm talking about the type of denial of cooking that go on consistently, and when it's brought up, it's an argument about why she ain't gonna do it and why she ain't gotta do it, and all of the million excuses as to why she's not going to. When I talk about no sex, I'm not talking about just not sex that night. I'm talking about it's been weeks now, years now, months now, and you can count on one hand how many times y'all been intimate. That's what I'm talking about. That's actually withholding sex at this point. Not the 1 or 2, you know what I'm saying, we both fell asleep, you know what I'm saying, and it just didn't happen that night. I'm not talking about that. Here's the other parts to this. Like I said, when you love people, when you rock with people, when you down with people, when you feel a certain type of way about people, doing things like fixing plates and stuff like that, that's not nothing, because you want to see that person happy. You want to see them smile. You think of things to do for that person to get that reaction from them. You think of things to do for your man to get him to smile and cheese and hug and beam and all of this type of stuff and brag on his wife, because you want that reaction, and you doing things because you want to see his happiness. That's what it is. When you rock with somebody, but when you don't rock with people, that is when every task becomes a transaction and a business deal. See, I want the men to pay attention to something, a discussion we had months ago. It might even have been last year, when I was talking about a marriage is a spiritual thing and not a business partnership. And we need to get away from the concept that marriage is a business. Because this is why these women were saying that. When you go to work, anybody that work, when you go to work and you go to work at this job or whatever, every task you do, that need to be included in your job description. You need to be getting paid for that. You're not going to be doing all of this extraordinary stuff all day at work without no pay, stuff that other people get paid for, you just expected to do at the job. They ain't raised your pay, they ain't promoted you, they ain't did nothing like that. It's just do these extra presentations, or do this extra workload or caseload or whatever. You're not doing that, because you don't come to work. This is not friendly. This is a business transaction. I was hired to do a specific set of tasks. As long as I do those tasks satisfactorily, I'm supposed to get a paycheck every 2 weeks for it. If you want me to take on entire workloads that require higher pay, then I need the higher pay. You're not going to make me do these extra workloads and then don't give me time and a half. You ain't gonna give me overtime. You ain't gonna give me nothing. No, I'm not doing it, because at work you count what you do, because the time matters. I'm only here 8 hours. I'm only here 10 hours, blah, 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 blah. All of that type of stuff. We not kicking it and hee-hawing and all that. We are working. We are working. It's a transaction. I do something, you pay me. That's a transaction. And rightly so. You should be paid for everything you do in that transaction. But a marriage can't be like that. Anytime you start counting and tit for tat, that is a business. That's what she means. So every task she do need to be paid separately. It needs an individual pay, an individual reward. That's why she's saying, I'm not gonna cook because that's extra. And this is why I was trying to change the narrative of how we thought about marriage. Marriage is not a business deal. Marriage is not a partnership. Marriage is a spiritual union. That is what marriages are. That is what marriages are. And as long as we're going to keep on talking about how marriages are business deals and partnerships and all of that type of stuff, then be ready to count your task. Be ready to count your task. Be ready to tally it up at the end of the month. Well, I did such and such. Well, I mop the floor one more time in the week than I usually do. So that's going to be an extra $50. Get the tally in it. Both of y'all. Both of you. Get the tally in it. Tell her paying her a cell phone bill was extra. She wanted an upgraded iPhone this time. That's extra. And you didn't have to do that. So she need to tally up some kind of way on how to pay you. Figure that out. If y'all going to be in a business deal or a marriage, it can't be both. It can't be both. Tit for tat is not love. I do, then you do, then I ain't going to do it if you don't do it. And then if you do it, then I... how is that a relationship based on anything spiritual or any amount of love or any amount of care or concern for somebody? How is that? How? And trust and believe she do this with her kids too. Everything she did for that child, when that child was growing up, she do want payment when the child is grown. Trust and believe. Black mothers are the only mothers I know that want payment for that. When her kids get grown, they can barely be grown. She want rent, she want money, she want bills, she want all kind of stuff. And she'll bring up, well, I raised you, I put a roof over your head because it was extra, supposedly. Wasn't no love in it. So here's the solution. If you are a woman that count what you do, stop counting what you do. If you actually call yourself love that man, stop doing that. If you don't love your man and you know that, have that conversation. Stop making trouble in your relationship and sabotaging it because you don't have the guts to tell him what's really on your mind. Have the other conversation with him about, I'm just here for stability. I don't like you. I never was attracted to you. This is why we don't have sex all that often. This is why I don't do nothing extra. This is why I don't do small kindnesses for you. Because I don't really like you and I don't really want to be here. It's just that you supply, stability in this way and this way and that way. And that's what I like. And that's what I want out of you. And I couldn't find no other man that was going to do that for me. So that's why I'm with you. But I don't actually like you like that. Have that conversation. Be woman enough to do that. With that being said, let me go ahead and draw everybody's attention to the petition that we have against Black Lives Matter as an organization. We still have that petition. Let's get to 7,500 signatures. So please, if you are also feeling like you want to hold them accountable as well, and you want to be a part of this movement, go ahead and click the link to the petition in the description box. Sign it, share it, contribute to it. Also sound off in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.